So the second algorithm that you're going to consider is the midpoint subdivision algorithm. So we are trying to find out the areas of the line, okay, that is we call it as the visible areas of the line that are present in the viewport area, okay, of the sector or the image. So you can keep the same concept in your mind. That is, you have a viewport, or you can say that you've got a window. Okay, ആ window അകത്ത് വരുന്ന ലൈനിനെ മാത്രമേ നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്പ്ലേ ചെയ്യാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നുള്ളൂ. All the portions that are out, that are said to be outside, you can say this much portion of the line will be shown. The remaining portion is said to be considered as invisible. The remaining portion is said to be considered as invisible. We try to find the portion of the line which is said to be within the window. And to do this, what we do is, number line kitti kazhinja, if you get a line, okay, you have a line. What we do is we try to divide this line into two segments. We try to divide it into two segments. You can call this as segment 1 and you can call this as segment 2. How do you find it as two segments? Number midpoint kandidikkum. We try to find the midpoint. You know how to find the midpoint. How do you find the midpoint? If this is your point P1 and this is your point P2, P1 has values as x1, y1 and P2 has values x2, y2. How do you find the midpoint? That is said to be xm comma ym, which has got the values xm and ym. So obviously xm is going to be x1 plus x2 the whole divided by 2, and your ym is going to be what? y1 plus y2 divided by 2. That is how you find the midpoint of the line. Once you find the midpoint of the line, you get the segment 1, okay, and you find the segment 2. So we will see what processing is said to be done on this to find whether the line is said to be within the window or not. Okay. So first of all, initially the line is tested for visibility. Okay, initially the line is said to be tested for visibility. ഈ visibility എന്ന് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുമ്പോൾ നേരത്തെ നമ്മൾ ചെയ്ത പോലെ തന്നെ here also we have region codes. Okay, here also we have got region codes. I'll tell you how those region codes are said to be formed. Okay, if your line, okay, if you have a line of this particular form, you have P1 and P2. This portion which is within the window, the portion which is said to be within the window is considered to be visible. It is said to be considered as visible, and the portion of the line which is outside the window is considered to be invisible. It is said to be considered as invisible. That is the concept. അപ്പോൾ ഇവിടെ നമ്മൾ നോക്കുന്നത് എന്താ പറഞ്ഞെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ if the line is completely visible, it is said to be drawn. ഇപ്പോൾ ഇവിടുത്തെ കേസിൽ I'll tell you that example. If the line is completely visible, it is said to be drawn. And if it is completely invisible, it is said to be rejected. It is said to be completely rejected. So I'll take my window. Okay, this is my window portion. And ഇവിടെ മാത്രമേ line segment വരച്ചാൽ കാണാൻ പറ്റത്തുള്ളൂ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ കാണാൻ പറ്റത്തില്ല. So I'll show you certain cases. Okay, I'll show you certain cases like if I have a line segment of this particular form, I have a line segment like this, which is said to be P1 and P2. I've got a line segment which has got the endpoints P1 and P2. Now, as both the endpoints is said to be within the window, as both the endpoints are within the window, I can say that the line which is connected using the endpoints P1 and P2 are said to be visible. I can say that the line which is connected by the endpoints P1 and P2 is considered to be visible. Now, consider a line. I am going to draw another line, children. Okay, in the same direction. Nothing is going to be visible. I'm going to draw it like this. Okay, I have got P3 and P4. Okay, I've got P3 and P4. This one line la enki endpoints. I've got endpoints which are said to be outside my window. It is said to be outside my window. So they are outside my window, but there's a portion of it which is said to be crossing my window. It is going through my window. Under the case, I can say that the line segment which joins the endpoints P3 and P4, which joins the endpoints P3 and P4, are said to be partially visible. They are said to be partially visible. Okay, so if you have a line segment which has got endpoints which are outside the window area, which are said to be outside the endpoint and window area, you can say that the line segment which joins these endpoints are considered to be partially visible. So what do you mean by completely invisible? Completely invisible condition if I take a line of this particular form. Okay, if I take a line which is said to be having the endpoints P5 and P6, I consider a line segment which has got endpoints P5 and P6, where both the endpoints are said to be completely, they're said to be outside my window. Okay, by using some of the technique we had used earlier, we try to find out the region codes of P5 and P6 and determine that there is no portion of the line which is going through the window. In that case, the line segment which is said to be joining the endpoints P5 and P6, the line segment which is said to be joining my line segment P5 and P6, endpoints P5 and P6 are considered to be completely invisible. They're considered to be completely invisible. In such a case, this particular line is said to be completely clipped out. അതിന് നമ്മൾ എന്താ ചെയ്യണേ മൊത്തത്തോടെ റിജക്റ്റ് ആണ് നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യണത്. What do? We completely reject it. In the case of P1 and P2, both the endpoints are within the window, so we are said to be accepting the line. In the case of P3 and P4, we have the endpoints outside the window, but by some means we try to find out whether the line segment is said to be going through the window. If it is going through the window, then we say that P3 and P4 is partially visible. They are said to be partially visible. അങ്ങനെയാണെങ്കിൽ നമ്മൾ portion of that line segment ആയിരിക്കും നമ്മൾ clip ചെയ്ത് കൊടുക്കുന്നത്. But if you consider the line segment which is joined by the endpoints P5 and P6, we find that the line segment is completely outside my window. I can simply clip out or reject the line segment which is joined by the endpoints P5 and P6. I can just reject the line segments which is joined by P5 and P6. I'm stopping here because we are left with 5 minutes and I won't be able to finish